Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another video. It's that time. I'm going to do our college football picks and predictions. The game that we're going to be breaking down is going to be all of our top 25 Week 6 college football matchups. We're going to break them all down and try to predict the outcome for every single one. The winner, loser, final score. We'll also take an in-depth look at our best bets, the money lines, the spreads, the over-unders. First things first, though, before we get started, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you have any comments, drop them below. Do you agree, disagree? What are your thoughts on these games? Who do you think is going to win these matchups? We have some really good top 25 versus top 25 matchups. We are starting to get into conference play. The games are just starting to mean more. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get right at it. Our very first game is actually going to be a Friday night game, October 3rd, 10:30 p.m. on ESPN. It's a late one. The 2-3 West Virginia Mountaineers. This is Rich Rodriguez's team on the road here versus number 23 BYU 4-0, coming off of a very close win versus Colorado, but they won it. They continue to stay undefeated. They lost Retzlaff, transferred right before the season started. Literally the week before the season started, they have not missed a beat at all. Bachmeier has filled in perfectly at the quarterback position. Right now, BYU, 94.9% chance to win. The Mountaineers, a 5.1% chance. BYU, 19.5-point favorites. Heavy favorites. The over-under is going to be 57.5. The West Virginia Mountaineers really struggling on offense. Miracle right now, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. They're only averaging 22 points a game. Throwing for 179.4, running for 216.2. They are a run-heavy team, but BYU, they shut down the run. Pretty good aggressive front seven, and they're also giving up 26.6 points a game. BYU, Bachmeier right now, first season filling in 66% completion percentage, 6 passing touchdowns. Martin at the running back position, over 500 yards on the ground. They're averaging 38.5 a game. Throwing for 184.5, running for 251.3. When you can run the ball that successfully, you will suck up clock, control the time of possession, and you have the defense to shut down the rush game for the Mountaineers. That's what Rich Rodgers wants to do. He wants to run the ball, run. He's not going to be able to do so versus the Cougars, and BYU only giving up 9.3 points per game. And their defense only giving up 76.3 rush yards per game. That's a top 15 rush defense. Give me BYU getting the win here. They are at home. They pull it off 34-13. And then moving on to our Saturday slated game, Saturday, October 4th, 12 p.m. on Fox Network, the 2-2 Wisconsin Badgers. Let's call it like it is. Fickell, he might be on the hot seat. This may very well be his final season coaching Wisconsin. The big thing that's been holding this team back has been the offense. They have not been able to throw, run. That's the primary thing that's been holding this team back from being able to consistently succeed in the Big Ten. They'll be on the road here versus number 20, the Michigan Wolverines, 3-1. Sharon Moore should be back this game. You know what Michigan wants to do. Run the ball, control time of possession, just grind it down. 10 to 12-minute possessions, run, let the running game open up that play action. Right now, Michigan, a 89.1% chance to win. This is the type of game that they want to play. This is what Wisconsin football used to be under Alvarez. It's not so much right now. The Badgers, a 10.9% chance to win. The Wolverines, 16.5-point favorites, a 41.5 over-under. Wisconsin, they've had O'Neal at the quarterback position. They may be getting Edwards back as the quarterback. The big question here is it going to make any difference? Probably not. He wasn't really that good before. They're only averaging 20.8 points a game. One of the worst offenses in the country. Throwing for 205.8, running for 117.8, but they do have a very solid defense, only giving up 18.8 points a game. Secondary is kind of questionable. Only 50 rush yards per game. That is top 5 in the entire country. They can shut the run game down. This is strength versus strength. The Wisconsin front seven that loves to shut down the run versus Michigan, who's going to be extremely run heavy. The Wolverines, 35 points a game, throwing for 183.3, running for 253.5 yards per game. One of the most successful rushing teams versus one of the best rush defenses. Who's going to come out on top? And don't forget, Michigan's also at home. They're only giving up 17.8 points a game, only 78 yards on the ground themselves. 2 solid overall defenses. One thing about Michigan, though, they have the better roster. Look for a steady dose of Haynes. He has almost 600 yards rushing through his first 4 games. And you have Bryce Underwood there, the true freshman. He can extend plays with his legs. He has his arm here. If it's not there on the ground, look for the freshman to be tested through the air. But he's already faced some good defenses before. He's been in the battle. He's felt the heat before. Give me Michigan win this one, 28-14. And then some SEC football on ABC at 12 p.m. 2-2 Kentucky Wildcats. I always say this about Stoops here. Very disciplined team, usually a solid defense. Their offense has been atrocious since he's been the head coach. They cannot throw the ball. They can run, but if they don't have an elite running game, this team, they have nowhere to go with the ball. They have nothing to fall back on. They're going to be on the road here versus number 12, the Georgia Bulldogs, 3-1. Coming off that home loss, they had their 33-game home winning streak snapped by Alabama last weekend. They're going to be out for revenge, and unfortunately for the Wildcats, they're going to be the one that's going to bear a lot of that brunt. Georgia, 90.4% chance to win this one. Kentucky, a 9.6%. But you also have to remember, Georgia, for some reason, always plays Kentucky very close. Sometimes it goes all the way down to the fourth quarter to the final possessions. The Bulldogs, 21.5-point favorites, a 48.5 over, and that's a very large spread for an in-conference game. Kentucky's averaging 27 points a game. Boley just not moving things on the ground. Only 402 passing yards through his first 4 games. He's on pace for about 1,200 passing yards on the season. They're throwing for 159. They're running for 188. They don't have a bad run game, but they can't throw it. They are giving up 26 points a game. On the other side, Georgia, they're averaging 34.5 per game. Throwing for 228.5. Running for 213.5, only giving up 19.5 on the ground. They obviously have the better roster. Top 3 overall roster in the nation. Stockton just shy of 900 yards through the air. He can also extend plays with his legs. He's not a dual threat quarterback, but he's a mobile quarterback. He can run if you flush him out. They have Bowens, Colby, Young. They have Branch. Branch is the X factor here. What that guy can do in the slot, you don't want to underestimate that. Looking at similar competition right now for the Wildcats, they played 2 SEC teams so far. They've given up over 30 to each of them. They gave up 35 to South Carolina last week. They gave up 30 to Ole Miss 2 weeks ago. Give me Georgia being able to eclipse 30 again, and I don't see Kentucky having the firepower to match that. Georgia wins this one 37-14. And this next game's a really interesting one. This is a Big 12 versus Big 12 game. Look out for the potential upset here. 12 p.m. on ESPN2. Number 14, the 5-0 undefeated Iowa State Cyclones. This is one of the front runners to potentially win the Big 12 this year. They'll be on the road versus 3-1 Cincinnati Bearcats. Do not underestimate Cincinnati. If Cincinnati pulls off the W here, they will find themselves ranked next week. The Bearcats, a 48.5% chance to win. Iowa State, 51.5%. The fans are practically split down the middle, basically a 50-50 game. And the Bearcats, they're also the Vegas favorites. 1.5-point favorites, 54 over-under. Vegas is siding with the unranked team here versus the ranked number 14 Iowa State Cyclones. That has to piss Matt Campbell off. Disciplined team. They can run the ball. Rocco Beck, 3rd year with the Cyclones here. Very familiar with the scheme. 1,100 passing yards, 7 touchdowns, 2 picks. They have Hansen at the running back position. But Cincinnati, they can practically match you score for score. Sorsby's having a great year right now. 1,100 yards passing, 10 touchdowns, only 1 pick. And he's also ran for 250 yards on the ground, 4 rushing touchdowns. He can do a little bit of everything. Look for what he can do. 3rd and long situations, you have to prepare for the pass, but you also have to keep in mind that he can easily scramble for the first down also. Cyclones are averaging 31.6 points a game, throwing for 235.2, running for 151, giving up 14.2 points a game. That's a top 15 defense in the nation. Bearcats are actually pretty close, 39.5 points a game, throwing for 288, running for 191.5, almost 500 yards of offense every single game, and they're only giving up 18.5. This is a very interesting game. And that's why Vegas is preparing for the upset, because it would not in any way be surprising if the Bearcats pulled off the W at home. But I'm going to go with the Cyclones pulling off the upset technically. They win this one in a higher scoring game, 30-28. And moving over to the Big 12 at 12 p.m. on the Big 10 Network, you have Barry Odom's 2-2 Purdue Boilermakers. They actually have a really good offense here. They'll be at home hosting number 22, the Illinois Fighting Illini. Brett Bielema's, you know what he does. He loves to run the ball. They're going to be physical. This is a team built at the line of scrimmage, the offensive line, the defensive line. They want to outmuscle you. The game might be close first half. Their goal, blow you away third, fourth quarter. That's where they start to wear you down. The Fighting Illini have a 74.7% chance to win this one. Purdue at 25.3%. Illinois, they were in a shootout at, let's first go back to the Indiana game where they got completely curb stomped, 63-10, got pushed all the way from number 9 to the back portion of the top 25. Then they come out, they host USC this past weekend. Very close game. They pulled off the W, maintained their spot in the top 25, and they still have a shot to compete and potentially even win the Big Ten right now. Illinois, 10.5-point favorites, a 55.5 over-under. They're averaging 35.8 points a game. Throwing for 242.6, running for 133.4, giving up 23.4 points a game. That's pretty inflated due to the 63 that they gave up to Indiana. They have Luke Altmaier here. 1,200 yards passing, 11 touchdowns, 3rd year in the system, veteran quarterback. Fegan at the running back position. Beatty, 400 yards receiving through the air. Purdue's averaging 28 points a game. Brown, though, a lot of turnovers. 6 passing touchdowns, 5 picks. You have to keep the picks down. You don't want to give the short field to the Fighting Illini. They're throwing for 279.5, pass-heavy team. running for 108.8, giving up 26.5 points a game. I don't envision Purdue. They have a pretty decent offense. I don't think their defense will be able to stop the Fighting Illini's run game. Give me Illinois winning this one on the road, 32-20. Staying in the Big Ten on CBS at 3:30 p.m., number 7, the Penn State Nittany Lions, coming off that loss at home. Everything was in front of them. They had the whiteout going. They had the veteran experience team. Franklin, though, a lot of people love to say that he can't win the big game. They lost it. It did go to double overtime. They fought their heart out. We have to get that offense back on track, especially through the air. A lot of pressure. Drew Waller, this is your moment. You have to make up for that loss. He always throws a pick in those close situations. The whole season is still in front of you. If you win out, even if you lose just one more game, you're still going to make the playoffs. So the season is not over yet. There's no reason to be down. You still have something worth fighting for. They'll be on the road here versus the 0-4 UCLA Bruins, one of the worst teams in college football. This is the perfect rebound game. Penn State is so pissed off. They've caught so much flack from what happened this past weekend. They're going to be looking to take it out on the next team they play, and that's just going to be the Bruins. The Bruins, they're about to get blown out. Right now, Penn State, 25.5-point favorites, a 50.5 over-under. They are 93% chance to win this game. The Bruins, a 7% chance. Penn State, Drew Waller, I got to see more from you. Only 763 passing yards, 6 touchdowns, 2 picks. Very good 1-2 running back combo. Allen, Singleton, Pena. We have to feed the ball to Pena. Give the ball to your playmakers in space. They're averaging 39 a game, throwing for 217, running for 180, only giving up 11.8. Knowles as the defense coordinator, one of the best defensive minds in all of college football, if not the best. And for the Bruins, they don't do anything good. Nico Imaliava, I said to Tennessee last year, if you can get rid of this guy, if there's an opportunity to offload him, get rid of him. He worked things out himself, left to UCLA. There is no love lost there. He's having an awful season. They're only averaging 14.3 points a game, throwing for 197, running for 124.3. Giving up 31.3 points per game. The coach has been fired. The entire season is behind him. If they were able to pull off the upset here, this would be massive for their momentum. I don't see it happening. They have nothing to play for. Penn State has everything to play for. This is a conference game. They want to win it. They want revenge for last week. They win this one 42-13. Then at 3:30 on ESPN, number 9, the Texas Longhorns coming off the bye week. They are 3-1 versus the 1-3 Florida Gators, also coming off the bye week. Both teams fully rested. They've had a lot to think about. Texas, they have to think about the Arch Manning situation. The guy has not looked good so far. Playing power 4 teams, he's been completely inaccurate. He has a weird throwing mechanic. He stares down receivers. He holds the ball too long. Sometimes he just throws it to his very first read. This is his 3rd year in the Steve Sarkisian system. He should be much better technically than where he is right now. He's definitely been overhyped at this point. The season is still young, but they're not even at the meat of their schedule yet. They still have the entire SEC conference schedule coming up. They're on the road here versus the 1-3 Florida Gators. They've also had a lot to think about because Billy Napier, he's probably going to be getting fired at some point. That's pretty much written on the wall right now. This team, they have one of the worst offenses you are going to see this season. They can't run it. They can't throw it. DJ Lagway has looked awful. He's completely regressed, but I said this offseason, what's with the DJ Lagway hype? He has more picks versus Power 4 teams then touchdowns. Yes, he beats up the FCS teams. They won 55-0 versus Long Island State. They've lost every other game since then, and they can't move the ball. They can't get first downs. The Gators, 23.3% chance to win this one at home. Texas, 76.7% chance. Texas Longhorns here, the number 9 team, 7-point favorites. The over-under is 43.5. Both teams, extremely good defenses. They both have top 15 defenses. Florida cannot score, but their defense will keep this game competitive. Longhorns are averaging 31.8. Throwing for 236, running for 202.8. Pretty decent run game. Arch Manning can also scramble. They're only giving up 7.8 points per game, only 61.3 on the ground. The Gators, 22 points a game, throwing for 205.3, running for 123, giving up 16 points a game. The fact that they're only giving up 16 points a game and their offense cannot get a first down. Their defense on the field the entire game. They haven't gotten wore out at any point this season, but you can only bend so far before you break. I trust the Longhorns a lot more. The better defense, the far better offense. Texas wins this one 27-16. And our next game is the game of the weekend, the game day matchup on ABC at 3:30 p.m. Number 16, Vanderbilt, 5-0. The Commodores, what a great start to the season, 5-0. A lot of hype right now. This is a team that beat Alabama last year. Do not say for 1 second they do not have a chance, because when Bama came to Nashville last season, they got the crap kicked out of them at the line of scrimmage. Diego Pavia, he's back. They have a veteran quarterback. They have an offense that's much better than it was last season, a defense that's much better than it was last season, and they get another chance to rematch versus Alabama. Can they pull off the upset back-to-back seasons? Bama's number 10 right now, coming off of a convincing win versus the Georgia Bulldogs. They got their mojo back. They got the momentum back. The big difference between this Bama team sitting at 3-1 versus last year's Bama team, because don't forget last year, Bama beat Georgia, came into this game, they took it for granted, they lost. They better not be taking this game for granted. This team beat them last year. They have to have the revenge factor here. They want to make up for that loss. They're going to be taking this game personal. It's more than business. Ryan Grubbs comes back as the offense coordinator. That's the Kalen DeBoer guy. That's the system he wants to run. Jalen Milroe's gone. You have Ty Simpson now as the quarterback. That's the prototypical quarterback for Kalen DeBoer. Vertical, deep passing game, extremely pass-heavy, completely different offense than what they ran last season. So this is the more vintage Kalen DeBoer team than what you saw last season. Bama, 74.3% chance to win this one. Vanderbilt at 25.7%. People are forgetting what happened last season. Bama's 13.5-point favorites, a 55.5 over-under. The Commodores, 49 points a game. Throwing for 270 run, running for 223.4, very balanced on offense, only giving up 17.2 points a game, only 79.8 given up on the ground. Their strength is their front seven. Bama has been struggling to consistently run the ball this season. Bama is averaging 38 points a game, throwing for 321.8. Like I said, an extremely pass-heavy team, but that's what Kalen DeBoer wants to do. They're running for 122. They got to get those rush yards up. They got to get that up to about 150 to 170 to compete in the SEC crunch time fourth quarter when you have to control the clock. Sometimes you have to be able to line up in the eye, run it downhill, have 8 to 10 minute possessions. Bama can't do that right now, but they're throwing it all over the field, and it is working. Simpson, 1,200 yards passing, 11 touchdowns, and no picks so far. They're only giving up 16.5 points a game. This defense this season, much better than it was last season, but do not underestimate what Diego Pavia can do. 1,200 yards passing, 13 touchdowns, 3 picks. He also has 300 yards on the ground with 2 rushing touchdowns. He is the entire Commodores offense, but if you can stop him, you can stop Vanderbilt. Give me Alabama winning this game 32-20 and making up for last year. And at 3:30 p.m. on NBC, 3-1 Boise State Broncos started out the season ranked top 25, lost to USF. Since then, though, they've completely rebounded. They had to find out what their offense was without Ashton Gentry. They've hit the footing. They have some foundation now. They're throwing the ball. They're running the ball. Their offense is at full steam right now. Unfortunately for them, they're going up against one of the most prolific offenses in the entire country right now. The number 21, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, sitting at 2-2. The Irish, a 91.9% chance to win this team that may very well still win the group of 5 and be in the playoffs just like they were last season. Boise State, an 8.1% chance. The Irish, 17.5-point favorites, 63.5 over-under. Vegas sees a lot of points being scored. For Boise State, they have Matson back at quarterback. Same guy from last season, 1,200 yards passing, 9 touchdowns, 1 pick. They don't have Ashton Gentry, but they do have Riley, 400 yards on the ground. They have Caples as the wide receiver. This Notre Dame offense is statistically the best offense I've seen them have in a very, very long time. They can throw it. They can run it. CJ Carr, what a first season as the starter for him. He's leading touchdowns every single drive, but their defense has been highly questionable this season. They finished last year with the number 3 defense. They were the runner-up to the national championship. Up to last week, they were giving up 35 points a game. The defense showed up last week. Arkansas, very good offense. They shut them down. They were able to control them through the air, on the ground. This is a team on paper, great front 7, a great secondary. They showed up last week. Maybe they've turned a corner. If they have, if they win out, which they will need to win out to have a shot to make a playoffs, keep your eye on the Irish. Boise State, they're averaging 38.5 points a game, throwing for 299, running for 221, giving up 24.8 points a game. Do not sleep on Boise here. They can score some points, but so can Notre Dame. They're averaging 44 points a game, throwing for 306.5, one of the best passing teams in the nation, running for 173.3, very deep running back room. Love, Pierce, wide receivers, great house facing. They're loaded with veterans. CJ Carr is the young guy, and he has 1,100 passing yards, 9 touchdowns, 2 picks. They're giving up 27.8, but it's the performance they did last week on the defensive side. Gave me a lot of confidence in this Irish team. Give me Notre Dame winning it 38-23. Moving over to the ACC ESPN2 at 3:30 p.m., there's going to be a lot of points scored in here. This is going to go probably down to the very end of the fourth quarter, possibly the final drive. Could be a field goal that decides this game. Number 24, Virginia Cavaliers, 4-1, coming off that massive upset versus the Florida State Seminoles. They give up a buttload of points, but this team can score. Morris right now, he is dominating through the air, on the ground, 1,300 yards passing, 10 touchdowns, 4 picks, but it's what he did with his legs that really made a big difference last week. Look out for the mobile quarterback here. They'll be on the road versus the 4-0 Louisville Cardinals. Virginia finally finds himself ranked here, but Louisville, they would love to pull off the win, and they'd be ranked next week. Louisville currently 56% chance to win this one. Virginia 44, very close with the fans. It's the Cardinals here, the non-ranked team, 6-point favorites, 61.5 over-under. Like I said, Vegas sees a shootout. Virginia, great offense, 45.6 points a game, throwing for 296.2, running for 243.4, almost 600 yards of offense every game, giving up 23.2. The Cardinals, though, they can match them score for score, 38.3 points a game, throwing for 279, running for 130.3, giving up 18.8 points a game. They do have the slight edge on the defensive side. One thing about Louisville, I love Jeff Brom. He changes his play calling to whatever the skill set is on his offense. Whatever playmakers he has, he's going to call plays to get them the ball. He'll run it, he'll throw it, whatever their strengths are. Miller Moss coming over from USC, 1,100 yards, 5 touchdowns, 3 picks. They have Brown at the running back position. Very good running back. Plus, he catches the ball out the backfield. They have Bell at wide receiver. But Virginia, Morris, 1,300 yards. Taylor, 400 yards. Harris, 400 yards. I would have went with Virginia, but with the emotional win last week, whenever you win, pull off a massive upset, sometimes the very next game, you get caught up in the upset because you expended everything that week. And now the next team, they're fully prepared for you. They want to upset you. Now you have a target on your back. Give me Louisville winning this one in a shootout, 37-34. Then at 4 p.m. on the SEC Network, 1-3 Kent State. Kent State, they struggle to score. They give up a lot of points. They're on the road versus number 5, Oklahoma, 4-0. The Sooners, the big news here, John Mateer going to potentially miss the next 3 to 4 weeks. That's a massive loss here. Some considered him the front runner for the Heisman. This guy was doing everything. He was the entire offense on this team. Came over from Washington State with the offensive coordinator, Arbuckle. That's made a complete difference here because Brent Venables, they're going to have a good defense. The offense held them back last season. That's not the case, but it's John Mateer, his arm, his legs. The guy's running for 20, 25 times. Physical runs every single game. He was their offensive leader on this team, but Oklahoma, they're obviously still going to win this game. They have a 99% chance to win. Kent State, only a 1% chance. Michael Hawkins Jr. going to be getting the nod here at the quarterback position. Very highly decorated, highly recruited quarterback coming out of high school. Oklahoma, 45.5 point favorites, 53.5 over under. Kent State, 18.3 points a game, giving up 44 here. If you are Oklahoma, this is a team you want to play when your quarterback is not going to be able to start. They're averaging 31.3. Throwing for 305, running for 125.8, giving up 9 points a game. Such a good defense. They're going to create havoc in the backfield. But this is the perfect outing. Oklahoma struggling to run the ball. The entire rush game is John Mateer, 200 yards on the ground. He's the leading rusher. That running back room, they have to step up. It is not optional. They have a very difficult schedule. Second most difficult schedule in the country next to the Gators. They have to develop a run game. With Mateer out, this is the time for them to work those young legs in there. Figure out the running back position. So once Mateer comes back, this offense is fully ready to go. Give me the Sooners winning this one, 48-10. This next game is honestly kind of worrisome. Be on upset alert here. ESPN, 7 p.m., number 11, Texas Tech Red Raiders. The front runners right now for the odds-on to win the Big 12 and represent the Big 12 in the playoffs this season. They are 4-0. Very talented roster, the best roster they've had in well over 1 decade. They are loaded. They brought in the number 1 transfer portal quarterback team. Morton, he's been slinging the ball up and down the field, 1,100 pass yards, 11 touchdowns, 3 picks. Hammond comes in last week. He's chucking. He was a true freshman. He threw for like 200 yards in the second half. Won them the game versus Utah 2 weeks ago. This offense is rolling. And how about Texas Tech? They have a defense for once. I don't ever think I've seen Texas Tech with a good defense. They statistically have a top 10 defense currently. But they're going to be facing Houston Cougars. 4-0, also undefeated. Willie Fritz team. He has built this roster from the ground up. Connor Wegman transferred over. He's been around. He's played for the Aggies. He's played big football before. He knows how to win games. Do not underestimate the Cougars here. They might be capable. They will be upset-minded. They want to get in the top 25. Houston, 25.4% chance to win. Texas Tech, 74.6% chance. Red Raiders, 10.5 point favorites. 50.5 over-under. This is going to be a fun game. I think Texas Tech, though, they might have more depth to pull away second half. They're averaging 52 points a game. Throwing for 368.5, one of the best passing teams in the nation. Running for 204.5, almost 600 yards of offense. Only giving up 11.3 points per game. Gotta love the Red Raiders' defensive front seven. They are getting after it. Only giving up 56.3 yards on the ground. Texas Tech built in the trenches. Who would have ever thought that would happen? Houston, 31.3 points a game, throwing for 208, running for 171.5, giving up 13.3 points per game. Wegman versus Morton. This is a coaching bonanza here. It's going to be a fun game, but I think, like I said, the Texas Tech depth will start to show third, fourth quarter. They pull away. They win 38-24. And at 7:30 p.m. on NBC, the 3-1 Minnesota Golden Gophers here. PJ Fleck's team, pretty decent offense, but it's the defense that's going to potentially keep this game very close. But unfortunately for them, they're on the road versus number 1, the defending national champions, the 4-0, the undefeated Ohio State Buckeyes. The Buckeyes, 94.7% chance to win this one. Minnesota, a 5.3% chance. Ohio State, 23.5 point favorites, a 44.5 over-under. When I'm looking at this matchup, I can honestly see almost a complete replay of the game that happened last week, Buckeyes versus the Huskies. This is two really good defenses here, but the Buckeyes, the number 1 defense in the entire nation last year. And again, right now, week 6, the number 1 defense again in all of college football. Minnesota, they're averaging 33.5 points a game, throwing for 261.3, running for 144, only giving up 16.3 points per game. Very good defense, only 65.5 on the ground. The Buckeyes haven't consistently been running the ball situationally, but what Saban's doing, he's getting more and more comfortable. 1,000 yards passing, 10 touchdowns, 3 picks. They have Jackson at the running back position. They have Jeremiah Smith, the best wide receiver in the nation, 400 yards. They have the best defensive player, Caleb Downs. They're averaging 36.3 points a game, throwing for 264.5, running for 181.5, but it's the defense only giving up 5.5 points per game. Number 1, only 132 through the air. Their secondary playing lockdown football. Give me the Buckeyes cruising to the win here, but it might be close, the first 1 or 2 quarters, but Ohio State ultimately wins it 32-13. And on ABC at 7:30 p.m., one of the best all-around rivalries in all of college football. Number 3, the Miami Hurricanes 4-0 versus number 18, Florida State Seminoles 3-1. Miami coming off the bye, fully rested here, ready to play Florida State. It's not just national championship aspirations. It is the ACC positioning up for grabs here. Florida State, I would have loved if Florida State would have won last week because that would have had even more build up to this game. Top 5 versus top 5, Miami, Florida State facing off probably would have been the game day game. They lost it. That doesn't matter that much. Yes, that's a loss. It derails you up to this point, but everything is still in front of you. As Bama continues to win, that makes Florida State look better. They still have their run game. They still have their coaching. They still have a shot here to make the ACC championship and make the playoffs. So everything is still in front of them. The first obstacle, though, is getting through Miami and vice versa. Same thing for the Hurricanes. They want to make the playoffs this season. They want to make the ACC championship game. They've only made it one time. This is their shot to get back there and compete for a national title. Right now, Miami 65.3% chance to win. The Seminoles a 34.7. Miami 5.5 point favorites. Very close. No matter what the records are, no matter what the rankings are, rivalry matchups, take them both, throw them out the window. They mean absolutely nothing here. The over-under is 54.5. The Hurricanes, 36.8 points a game, throwing for 270, running for 176.8. Very balanced on the offensive side. They are loaded. Carson Beck, veteran quarterback. If it comes down to a final drive, this guy, he's been on the big stage before, played the largest brands, been in the largest stadiums here. They are in Tallahassee. It's nothing he hasn't seen before. He can take them down the field, score a final possession drive. Fletcher, Lyle, Tony, Keelan. There's weapons up and down. And don't forget about Mesidor, Bain Jr. They have a great defense, only giving up 11.5 points a game. That's a top 15 defense in the nation. Secondary completely revamped, playing very good, but it's that defensive line. It's the front 7, only giving up 76.3 yards per game on the ground. They are aggressive. Tackles, sacks, tackles for a loss, quarterback pressures. They're getting after. They haven't given up 100 yards on the ground as of yet this entire season, and they've already played the Notre Dame team with Love and Pierce. They shut them down. Florida State, though, do not sleep on Florida State. This is strength for strength because Miami shuts the run down. Florida State runs as well as any team in the nation. They're averaging 53 points a game, throwing for 263.8, running for 336.3 yards per game. That's top 5 on the ground. A top 5 rushing attack versus a top 10 rush defense. And they're only giving up 19 points a game. Yes, they lost the Virginia game, but I honestly think they just got caught looking at this game. Mike Norvell, they won 2 games last season. They've already eclipsed that right now. But they have their sights set on an ACC and a playoff appearance this season. Castellanos coming over from Boston College. He's doing great things with his arm. 900 yards passing. It's what he does with his legs, though, extending plays. This guy is probably going to run, 15 to 25 times this game. It's going to test Miami sideline to sideline. They have the speed, but will it be able to translate here on the field in Tallahassee? They're only giving up 19 a game. You have Gus Malzahn calling plays, one of the best offensive minds of the last decade for college football. This game's going to be close, probably going to be back and forth. I trust the Miami depth just a little more. I trust their offense. I trust the veteran Carson Beck potentially making the difference. Miami wins this one 30-24. And if you love scoring, if you love fireworks, you're probably going to find it this next game, 7:30 p.m., the SEC Network. You're going to have 4-1 Mississippi State. Let's first give a shout out to Jeff Lebby. What he's done with this team, they had 70 transfer portal players come in there. They had to retool the offense, the defense. They were awful last season. They win 3-4 games last season at most. They are completely retooled. They are putting up a fight here. They already beat Arizona State. They're ranked. They almost beat Tennessee this past weekend. They have their sights set on number 6, the Texas A&M Aggies, 4-0, undefeated right now, coming to College Station. Very difficult place for the road team to play, but Mississippi State, they want an upset. They want it bad. They already have won this season. They almost upset number 2. Now they're ready for number 3, but the Aggies are the favorites here. 78.9% chance to win. The Bulldogs, 21.1% chance. The Aggies, 13.5-point favorites, 58.5 over-under. Mississippi State, 38.6 points a game, throwing for 225.6, running for 205.2, very balanced on the offensive side, shaping 8 touchdowns, 3 picks. Bothwell, well over 400 yards running. They're only giving up 17.6 points a game. They have a good offense. They also have a good defense, all built through the transfer portal. And then the Aggies, this is Mike Elko. They're going to play disciplined, physical, hard-nosed, old-school style football. They're going to line up. They're going to run it at you. But it's the passing game that's really honestly taken this team to the next level. They're averaging 35.8 per game, throwing for 294.3, running for 169.5, giving up 24 points a game. They don't have the best defense right now, but they've definitely showed up the last couple of weeks. Reed, 1,100 yards passing, 9 touchdowns, 2 picks, but it's also what he can do with his legs. Moss is fully healthy. You lost him last season. He is back, over 300 yards running. And what about Craver? Some are saying he might be one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver in all of college football right now. Almost 500 yards through the air. This game may go back and forth. If it was at Mississippi State, I might even pick them to pull off the upset. But because it's at College Station, give me the Aggies winning this one 33-28. Guys, that's our picks, our predictions for all of our Week 6 college football matchups. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you have any comments, drop them below. Do you agree, disagree? What are your thoughts on these games? If you want to sign up for one of our member teams, check out that pinned comment down below. Click on that link. You can sign up there. I would appreciate it. And of course, as always, thank you for watching.